G'day everyone, my name is Zach and welcome back to this week's Hobby Highlights and Headlights, a show where only shooting stars break the mold lines. Getting straight into the hobby highlights for this week, I did manage to make a few Chaos Warriors, which I'm super excited about, and I did a couple of little conversions that I'm very happy with. I think I got roughly maybe 20 nearly done, or was it maybe 15? But I got a few done, and you can probably see them in the back of the video. They're hanging on the side of my monitor. I'm having a lot of fun with this army. It's been a really nice and refreshing process, being able to go back to something that I'm so familiar with. Because for those who haven't seen already, Warriors of Chaos was the first ever army that I collected in Warhammer. And basically the years of knowledge I have from building and painting them has just come back immediately. And the process, and like what I've learned between like the 10 years of me owning this army has just come in full swing. And I'm so proud of how quickly I can get all this stuff done. And it's just an absolute joy, and I'm really loving it. So I'll probably end up slapping some paint on those guys, hopefully next week, because I'm currently away this weekend as of this video being recorded. But other than that, I didn't get much hobbying done. Mostly just been processing a lot of orders, doing a lot of stuff outside and behind the scenes, trying to get a video ready for next week, because obviously I'm not here this weekend, so I got to try and get things done in advance. So hopefully I get that out Monday, Tuesday, but we shall see. Now, coming up for the hobby headlines, it is a massive week for Warhammer. Like I said in last week's video, I do believe, Adepticon 2024 is finally here. And my gosh, was I excited. I was a little disappointed that I didn't get the old world news that I wanted. But fortunately enough, hopefully I get news of Warriors of Chaos soon. But jumping straight into it, we have Age of Sigmar 4th edition, which I swear there was only 2 editions of Age of Sigmar, but I'm thinking about it now, it came out roughly 2015, so it's been nearly 10 years since that Age of Sigmar came out, which is, when you think about it, absolutely crazy. I don't know where time has gone, but yes, it has really rolled up very quickly. And Warhammer Age of Sigmar is reforged for an incredible new edition, according to Games Workshop. And like I said in last week's video, it freaking Stormcast versus Skaven, which I'm super excited for. Skaven was an army that I painted a lot back in the fantasy era. My auntie at the time, she was collecting Skaven. She had a bunch of like old metal models and just went absolutely ham on buying kits, and I had such a blast painting them. So you might just see me painting up some Skaven in the near future. And it makes me excited because I want to see what models they're bringing back. Because for those that don't know, the Skaven line is a very outdated one. A lot of the characters that it has are old metal sculpts or old Finecast sculpts, which don't really hold up to the test of time. Like, I think the Warplock Jezzails, the Rattling Gunners, and all that sort of stuff are like nearly a 20-year-old kit. And the stuff that came out a few years ago, by a few I mean like maybe 10 or 15, still holds up today, like the Hellpit Abominations, the Rat Ogres, those from the Island of Blood were absolutely incredible. Still my favorite things. They got the Storm Fiends that came out in End Times. Thankful and Bone Ripper was a really nice addition. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with that. And it also means that we are getting more Stormcast, which I don't think I've ever painted a Stormcast model. As controversial as that might sound, I genuinely don't believe I have ever painted a Stormcast model. But it might just be a good excuse to, depending on what the new box set looks like. Because I did buy, I think I bought Dominion, or maybe, no, I bought half of Dominion because the hobby shop in my old town, Mackay, used to split the boxes, and I only bought the Cruel Boys half. I think I bought maybe 1 or 2 of those. So yeah, I've never actually touched a Stormcast before, so maybe 4th edition is the time when I finally pull the pin and jump straight into that. But yes, I'm super excited to see what comes. And it'll be interesting to see maybe what new models are there. Because it does allow you to choose the Stormcast Eternals and Skaven side newsletters, which I'm surprised they didn't even tease any new models. Like, if they're not showing them at Adepticon, how big is this new release? Like, is this going to be like a massive redo for both armies? Because like Stormcast just got the new, I can't remember what they're called, but like basically the cooler Stormcast last edition. Yes, it'll be very interesting to see what they do with that, and I will be keeping an eye on all the updates and things. Next up, we have the Spear of the Everchosen, which I am in 2 minds about this model. I'm an avid Chaos lover, and I don't know if it's just because it's Age of Sigmar Chaos and just something, yeah, I don't know. The model looks cool to me. It looks very, very cool, and I do like the inclusion of female Chaos models at this point, because the old trope of Space Marines and, you know, that can only be boys is very outdated. So it's really nice to see Games Workshop going in a new direction. And I know I say this every time, but I do genuinely appreciate the diversity in models now, because it's fun painting something different, and it really challenges me to, you know, highlight and shade and just do everything ever so slightly differently to match the model, and I love that challenge. But overall, we have Abraxia on I don't know what that thing is. A big dog, because she is from the Hounds of Chaos, I do believe. Now, the model overall is pretty cool. You've got the big lizard thing, but just for some reason, it's not standing out to me. I don't know if it's just because it's like a somewhat Drake-looking thing, or maybe it's just the black armor. Maybe I could like chuck a Chaos Space Marine Terminator Lord on that, or even one of the Heroes Infinite models. Get one of the female leads from that and chuck it on there. So yes, maybe that's a project for the future. I'll attempt to make the model cooler in some way. Overall, pretty neat. And there's a couple of box sets also coming out. They released a new terrain alongside her, but I don't care much for terrain. It's not really my jam. Never been one to paint a lot of terrain, I should say. Overall, I would say like a I don't know, 6 out of 10 for me. Maybe there's something I can do to jazz it up. I don't know what, because I can't put my finger on it. Now, we did also get massive old world news, and unfortunately, it's not the one that I wanted. I had my fingers crossed for Warriors of Chaos news, but I don't know if it's just me, but I have a feeling that maybe Warriors of Chaos is one of the more popular armies that they're gonna bring back. I'm not 100% certain, but I feel like they're gonna say that till the very, very last reveals. But it is cool to see that they're bringing back the old battalion boxes, which I absolutely adore, because I had a party at Games Workshop years into years ago when I was, I think, like maybe 14. I bought a bunch of my friends, and to have a stall party, you had to buy a battalion box. And I remember Mom was like, yep, fine, you can absolutely go for that. And she bought me this massive wad of plastic, and like 14-year-old me, my mind was just absolutely blown. I can't even remember what was in it. I think it was like Chaos Knights, maybe a Chaos Chariot, bunch of Chaos Warriors, Chaos Marauders, or maybe it was Horsemen and Marauders and there was no Chariot. But whatever it was, I absolutely adored it. And then a bunch of my friends bought me Warhammer, and we played Fantasy, and then we played 40k, and I was like, all my friends like, hey, how cool is Fantasy? Like, what do you prefer? And they all went 40k, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, but Fantasy is this cool stuff, and like, yeah, but it's really complicated, which I didn't want to admit at the time, but it 100% was, because Fantasy was basically like the Napoleonic-esque like rules, you know, very detailed, sort of for people who wanted to role-play more battle-like things, which the old world, from the looks of it, is similar, but they have streamlined a lot of the rules. So yeah, unfortunately, they loved 40k a little bit more, and I think a couple of my mates did get into it. But yeah, I joined the bandwagon a lot later, maybe a year or two after. I ended up trading my Warriors of Chaos army for a 40k army, but I was still smart enough to keep my first models, so I'm not all gone. So yes, we do have a bunch of dwarf releases. I got the battalion box. There is the new miniatures, which is very, very interesting. I think it's a shield bearer. I'm not 100% sure what that is, but it's a little dude being carried by 2 other little dudes. Then you have the dwarf Thane with, oh no, is it a dwarf? I don't know, what is it? There's also a little guy with like a shield and a sword. He's kind of cool. I always love the dwarf models. They're very ornate. They have all the gold trim and everything, and you can do some funny colors on them. It's very, very fun. There's also a couple of Forge World models, which I am very, very excited for the Forge World releases in this new edition. I genuinely think that Forge World does some of the best sculpts out of all the Games Workshop models. They deviate slightly from the original vision of it, and it's really interesting to see a slightly unique take on all these things. I absolutely love it. And then I'll just scroll through. I'll have a bunch of the other releases over here. Heaps of new plastic kits returning, the Thunderers and all that kind of thing, and I think it's really cool. I always love the dwarf models. They stacked up really nicely when you put them on their little 25mm bases. There's a couple of Forge World resin kits that I think, from the looks of it, are the old Forge World. Much missed Dwarf Commander, which is interesting. And the banners, I love banners. Sculpted banners are just the best thing ever for someone like me who never wants to practice freehand. So I absolutely love when they just lather them with details and I can just play paint by numbers. It makes my life so much easier and I absolutely adore it. There is also a bunch of metal kits returning, which I love that they are bringing all the metal kits back. Even if they're on a made-to-order basis or whatever it is, the fact that they are revitalizing these things and allowing people to access them from what seems like the original price tag is incredible. Like, I know the new models, they're double packing, so that technically it is a better deal, which I can see. It's kind of like what they did with, say like Warriors of Chaos when Age of Sigmar came out. You could buy, I think it was, I can't remember if they came in a box of 10 or 20, but they did a double box. It was like $100 and you got double the amount, but it was technically $10 cheaper in dollary dues that way. Yeah, so maybe that's what they're gonna do with this. So like the metal models make up for it because they're at the original price, and then you're getting more value for money, but you are having a bigger investment when you're doing the plastic kits, which is a very interesting way to go. Up next we have Wintermaw, which looks to be pretty cool. Now I didn't know that I needed these, but there's a couple of guys, I don't know what they are. The Brethren of the Bolt are a cult of Unberogen? I've never seen that word before, so I'm probably butchering it. Call me uncultured. Who worship Sigmar, which is very interesting. They kind of look like grim dark models, which I actually really like and I love that there's legitimately just a guy on top of another guy. That is so funny to me. I absolutely adore that. And just overall, I'm kind of intrigued to maybe run these guys as like a chaos cultist or something. I reckon you could 40k them up really nicely, or just keep them like that and just have them as like really primitive chaos worshippers. Yeah, I absolutely love them. And the soft like grimdark look that they've done, really grungy, I think just adds to that. And yeah, absolutely adore that guy standing on the other guy. That's so cute. I freaking love it. And speaking of, whatever they've done with the new ghouls is incredible. The fact that they're finally leaning into that royal, like, we think we're kings and queens, but we're just absolutely abhorrent creatures, is super interesting. And I think the biggest standout model, obviously, is the ghoul with the wings. You cannot go past it. Like, look at him. How freaking cool is that? Then you got a couple other guys, you got like the guy with the little cleaver and everything, which kind of looks fun to paint. I would absolutely adore being able to just sit down and just paint different models all week. I would absolutely love that, which maybe, all things going well, hopefully we can do soon, because I just want more time to paint and create content for everyone. And models like this inspire me to try new things and kind of break the mold in a sense, you know, move away from my batch painting, you know, Warriors of Chaos or Chaos Space Marines and Ultramarines. I'm really challenging myself, and I long for that feeling. I absolutely adore it. So overall, Warcry team going at, no, Warcry, Underworld's team going absolutely ham, and I love the work that they're doing. And speaking of Warcry, there is also a new release, and it's an interesting one. We have the Bone Daddies back. They are the Osiarch Bone Reapers, and obviously, as we knew, they were bringing out the little bone cat things, which I thought the last one looked cool, but the one that looks the coolest, or the one that I think looks the neatest, is the dude with like a little headdress. And these models are almost a 10 out of 10. The other guys are pretty cool. You got like the big guy on like the horse. You got the guys with the spear thingies, and then the bird thing. The bird thingies are perfect. I would not change a single thing on those. But the dogs, I really feel like they will get a bit of a kick out of just gluing a couple horns to the front of the model. I think the weird, like, I assume it's where their nose would be, just looks so strange to me, because I don't think they have holes for eyes anywhere from the side profile. And maybe that's what's throwing me off, but I feel like if I just glue a couple of horns on there, the model goes from a 9 out of 10 to just a perfect 10 out of 10. So I absolutely adore them, and I kind of want to start painting Osiarch Bone Reapers. I love the Bone Grinder. It gives me big Storm Fiend vibes. Like, I more or less have a wish list of models that I adore and absolutely want to paint, but do not want to start an army for. I just want the privilege of being able to paint them up and enjoy the model for what it is. And these guys I might add to the list, because there's so much detail in them, but they look like they'd be fun to paint. They're such a unique take on an original faction. Yeah, just overall, I absolutely adore them. Now, we do also have the sentient trees that will murder you for stepping on grass. They come with a couple of dryads. You got the honeybee hunter, Jason Statham beekeeper, as I would like to call him or her. I do believe it's a her. Yeah, I like that. I love that they really lean into the bees. It's such a cute little thing. You got the dryads, and you got Big Whip Dude, which looks like a very, very fun model, but I can see those whips getting snapped so easily. And that's one thing that scares me about collecting the Age of Sigmar Dryads, because I would love to have a Dryad army, because you could do so many fun colors and not have to worry. And like, as long as the wood is all the same color, but like, even if it wasn't, just have the basing match. You can do so many unique things with them. And looking specifically at the Dryads, it now reminds me how much those Dryads need an update. So I don't know how long the kit's been out. I don't think it's really that long. But like, I love these new guys. They just seem to have enough detail without being overly complicated. You could still zenithal or like whitewash them, or what's the term? Just like literally just undercoat them white. Spray a bunch of wildwood on them, or even just like paint it on with a brush, and it would look incredible. You know, super easy to paint, and then you just pick out a couple of details with your spot car. I think that would be really, really cool. And there is also this giant tree, which I don't know if I like. It kind of just looks like 10 out of 10 would eat you alive. Yes, pretty interesting. But next up, we do have the Chaos Space Marines on the Warpath. And I'm pretty sure that this model right here is a re-release of a model from, bloody hell, years ago. It's fun to see a new take on it, and I think they've kept the overall pose. I had a bunch of people, I think it's like an aspiring champion or something. I'll have it up next on this this slide. But I think it looked really cool. I love the little face in his belt there. I think that's really a unique take. And I honestly reckon if you got rid of that power pack and maybe shaved the sword down a little bit, made it look a little bit more fantasy, you can use this as a really cool Age of Sigmar guy. It's yeah, maybe swap the head out, do like a regular head. But you could definitely make this guy fit in Age of Sigmar really easily, and that's one thing I love about the Chaos Space Marine range. They seem to interchange really easily, and it's nice to see. They did also release a Chaos Lord jump pack, which holy trim Batman, there's so much. And like any good Chaos player, I have become an absolute god at painting trim because there is so much on every single model. I love him. I can already see the problem being that tiny little smoke quiff, I think it is, on the bottom of his foot. I would probably honestly just cut that all off, drill a 1mm rod through his foot, and maybe sculpt my own, or do something like that, because I don't like that they keep attaching the floating models on these tiny little points of contact, because every time I take them somewhere, or like even just displaying them, I'm afraid that I'm going to knock them down, and then the model will just go flying, and I'll be left with that stupid tiny little base. Overall, love the model, very, very cool, but change, please. Stop putting the flying models on these tiny little pinpoints. It scares me. They did also release a couple of battle forces along with these guys, which one looks like to be very, so it's Veterans of the Long War, which you can obviously expect to be a bunch of Terminators, Chaos Space Marines, that kind of jazz. And then the Dread Talons, which obviously is a bunch of more choppy, slicey boys. The Warp Talons, I think it's Raptors, Demon Prince. I don't know what the weird, what do you call it? The weird looking mutant guys are. I can't remember what the word is for it. But they're pretty cool if you want to go that term. More like a cultish one, the second Battle Force set. Other than that, we do also have new Kill Team, which there are so many freaking releases from Games Workshop now. It is absolutely insane. This video is probably going to be like 40 minutes long today. Now, as for Kill Team, we have Kill Team Termination, which I think is really cool. I'm not going to go too far into this one because I'm not much of a Kill Team player. But we do have some more Halfkin? Is that what they are? Whatever the Space Dwarves are. I can't remember their fancy name the Games Workshop made for them. Which I like the way that they've done them. They have trench coats galore, so if you want to tickle your leather painting fancy, make sure to pick these guys up. I love the way that they do the power weapons on them too. It's really cool to see like a slightly different take on it. And like, obviously they have their own technology, which is neat. There is also a Gene Stealer Cult, which looks like they've got some kind of little Gene Stealer not Cadian warriors, but something along their lines, like similar models like that. And you do also get a Magus, the Genestealer Patriarch, I'm pretty sure it's called, and then the other guy, and like the two little dudes, like little guy with a skull, which is kind of neat. Overall, I do enjoy them. Probably not going to paint them myself. Maybe one day when I have a bit more time, I will start a couple new armies. But yeah, they've done good things. Now for the next one, I'm just going to leave the video playing over here. But I am very excited because it's obviously Mechanicus. Like, Games Workshop are finally going to release Mechanicus for the Horus Heresy, which I'm pretty sure between Custodian and Mechanicus is the only thing that everyone has been looking forward to for Warhammer, the Horus Heresy. Everyone has been holding out for it, and they're super, super keen to grab them. And I am very interested to see what kits they bring out. So obviously this is just a teaser trailer, so they're not going to show us any models in it. But I'm interested to see what models they bring, because I'll probably end up buying them. And depending on what they are, I might even start a Dark Mechanicus army, because I love chaos and I love conversions. I would absolutely adore being able to cut down some plastic and mold them all together, instead of having to deal with all the jazz that is resin. So yeah, it's very exciting to see them finally tackling Mechanicus. So yes, can't wait for that. Now in Necromunda news, this seems to be right up my alley. From the looks of it, people have been speculating that these guys over here are new Van Saar, which I am all for. Van Saar, I'm pretty sure, were one of the first factions released for Necromunda, and it's cool to see them getting a little bit more love in the Ash Wastes. Like, we already got the plastic Arachnorigs, which are amazing models, and it's really nice to be able to work with them in plastic. I do have a Forge World resin one, which was an absolute nightmare. I hated penning it. The super glue was just an absolute pain to deal with. So I'm looking forward to being able to do both that. And from the looks of it, this new gang, I could be very wrong, we only have a shadow. But from the looks of it, they have very sleek and nice looking panels. So I'm definitely calling Van Saar on this one. Other than that, I am keen to see what happens with these guys. It looks like they've got like the little claws and everything. People are also speculating that maybe Spider Gang, maybe something along those lines. Yes, it'll be interesting to see what those guys actually are. Now, that is everything for our Adepticon news, but there is two more things that I do just want to cover in Games Workshop news. We have a new white scar, and I will admit, I actually quite like this model. I don't know if it's like the pose or just the way that they painted, or like the ornate helm, but I freaking love this guy. He's a cool little dude. And then when they've got the helmetless version, they painted the white skull on him, and just, yeah, it looks super detailed. And I love that they're doing like a bit more freehand. Really emphasizes the sculpt and just brings out the best parts of it. And I reckon I could paint a model better than this box art. It sounds pretty ballsy, but I reckon I could take this model and do the next few steps on it. So yeah, I might actually end up picking this model, depending on how much it is. If it's like $50 maybe. I would love to challenge myself to paint this guy up to like a really, really nice stat and really push the contrast on that white armor. But I absolutely adore this model, and I probably will just pick one up just to paint it up, because I love painting orc skin. Something about orcs is super, super fun, and yeah, they tickle a different part of my brain, and even though I'm going super detailed on a lot of the orc skin, it doesn't register that I'm putting so much time and effort into one thing. Yeah, I'll definitely be painting a bunch of these. There's a heap of Forge World kits coming back, which is nice to see. Obviously the classics in plastic, bunch of metal things, which I'll just keep rolling up here. And an exciting little thing that did kind of pique my interest was the ogres and everything from, I think that's what they are. I don't have enough time to read the article. I'm kind of rushing this last bit here. Yeah, it's cool to see like a different thing, or just some of the older models coming back, and things that like I personally never knew existed. It's cool to see like some of these things are actually genuinely new to me, because when I was playing, it was kind of at the tail end of fantasy, so I didn't get a lot of nostalgia for like a lot of the super, super classic kits in metal. Plastic ones definitely, they were all around when I was playing, but not so much the metal, so it's cool to see a couple of these old things. And I know that there's a bunch of people who have been playing much longer than me that will absolutely adore these, so I can't wait to see what they do with them. One thing, however, that I do love is the Bone Grinder Giant, which has to be the best giant that Games Workshop has ever released. just everything about him. I don't know if it's the paint job and like the patchwork and everything, but he looks absolutely incredible. And they've got him next to the, I think it's the old giant, like just the regular giant, which is really, really neat. But yeah, I'll definitely be picking up one of those guys because he's so unique. And I'm pretty sure I could proxy him as like a Chaos Giant in my army for Warriors of Chaos. So I'll probably just end up doing that because I want any excuse to buy that model. And even if I don't use him in my Warriors of Chaos army, I will just buy him for the sake of just owning a Bone Grinder Giant. Such an iconic model for Warhammer. Then there is also, I'm not going to talk too much about them, but the Solar Auxilia releases for this week are here. So it's cool to see those guys. Got all the tanks and everything. The Walker, which I'm really kind of excited for. I've seen a couple of the Culture Paint videos and what they do with all the Solar Auxilia. So I'm really interested to see a few more people paint them up in a different style. And I'll probably maybe pick up a box or two just to give them a bit of pain. Maybe ally them into my Space Marine army as Cadia or something like that. Yeah, I'll definitely be picking up something from that and hopefully painting it up in the near future. So I wouldn't say keep an eye out for the video, but if I get the chance, I definitely will be doing it. On that note, the only thing left for this video is this week's hobby hero, which is, for me, a bit of a self-indulgent one. And I know this is a very long video, but I want to give a massive shout out to my partner, Z. If you haven't seen her already, she's been in a couple of videos. She was in the first, I think, was the video of me painting the Space Marine, the Dark Angels Captain, and then she was recently in the video with the Slann Mage Priest proxy that we did. And I want to give a massive shout out to her. She is my hobby hero for this week, and although she does not play Warhammer, she is always supporting me in everything that I do and challenging me to be better in everything that I do, as well as just helping out with various things around in the channel, as well as starring in a couple of videos. So I'm very impressed by just everything that she does. And for those who don't know, she actually does stream as well. If you want to go and check her out, I will leave every single link of hers down in the description down below. Go and check her out and show her some love. She's done so much for me, and the least I can do is send some support back to her. You can also find me on a lot of streams as well. Z and I play together all the time, as well as a bunch of friends. Sometimes we do a couple of Warhammer games, but you can usually find her doing a bit of just chatting and playing a bunch of other things. As of late, we have been playing a little bit of War Thunder. Helldivers has been a massive one as well. Yes, I just want to give a massive shout out to her because she is an absolute inspiration for me. She keeps me going. She picks me up when I fall down hobby-wise and in life, and I just appreciate her so much. So please go and show her some love. It would mean the absolute world to me. And yes, thank you to everyone who goes and does that. You are absolute hobby heroes yourself. Without further ado, I won't keep rambling on. Just want to say thank you to everyone who has watched this video this far through. You are the real backbone of this channel, and I appreciate every single one of you, as well as those who leave a like and subscription on the channel. You are absolutely amazing, and I thank you for everything that you do and all the support that you show. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later. Happy hobbying. Bye.